Hey guys, what's up? How ya doing? I'm here to talk to you guys the final episode of Demon Slayers or Kimetsu no Yaiba Entertainment District Arc or Yuukaku-hen, which is on episode 11 overall, of its second season whatsoever, whichever one that's fitting for you. This was a nice episode and this was a nice season, in terms of animation, art, quality, and production, In terms of story, I guess it's okay if anything. I'm just speaking certain minds of people of the community and myself. So if anything else, let's just get this started. We have to it after the defeat of the upper rank, Gyutaro ends up making one last self-destruction move, but Nezuko, who ends up being pushed out of the box or falls out of the box, uses her demon powers to stop Gyutaro's powerful rampage whatsoever, Eventually we have to it that Tanjiro will later on finds Zenitsu, who apparently is crying from the pain, and finds Inosuke. We have to it that Nezuko's power seems to disintegrate the poison within Tanjiro, and she does the same for Inosuke, I thought to myself that was pretty nice here and there, it was really slick. That was really nice, really slick. Although, after Inosuke was healed and was close to dying, freaking Tanjiro can only hug him in total relief, saying, "Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're okay." And then Inosuke's like, "Oh, stop it already. You're really starting to make me freak, And we see to it that Tengen, it looks like to me he's about to be on the last edge of his life right now, while Uzui's wives were telling him, "Don't die on us, don't die on us, don't die on us," And freaking Uzui's like, "Oh man, I can't even talk, I'm going to freaking die," But Nezuko shows up and ends up burning him up a bit, but it doesn't seem like he's killing him and got rid of the poison. And Uzui's like, "Oh man, thanks," etc. While Uzui's wife hugs him very much and says, "Oh my gosh, you're okay, oh my lord," etc. And we have to it realizing that that Uzui ends up telling Tanjiro not to move any further, but Tanjiro's like, "I can't rest though, not yet." Eventually, Tanjiro will later on find the upper rank demon's pool of blood and ends up getting a blood sample and passes it on to Kamayo-san, or Tamayo-san, I think. Whatever that demon woman's name that helped him in the first season, he passes on that blood sample to her thanks to that little nice demon Neko cat, And we have to it eventually that Tanjiro will hear the siblings arguing with each other, And it looks like it was a very bad argument. I mean, I'm pretty sure anyone who has a sibling whatsoever, you've been into arguments with them, you had fights verbally, maybe physically. Hopefully it's not physically. I think I did once, but later on I was warned not to do that again in a threatening manner, etc. But arguing with your sibling, it tends to happen a lot, like blaming each other here and there, but Tanjiro, unable to handle that, ends up covering Gyutaro's mouth and says, "Please, don't do this any further. You guys only have each other and no one else will ever forgive your actions no matter what, So please, don't do something that's gonna end up hurting your mind or maybe your heart even worse than it has before." And we have to it eventually Daki, which eventually cries and says, "Why the hell are we hearing this from you? Damn it!" And she ends up crying. She doesn't want to die. That kind of thing. And it's it's really devastating. Because we also get to know Gyutaro's backstory along with Ume, which later on she'll be called Daki at the same time. Eventually in the future. No, when it comes to reality on human life in this damn earth, not trying to be very angry and insulting and very ticked off in a certain way. Nobody is really born lucky at all. Almost nobody. Some people are born in a bad environment. Some are born in in a good environment and lucky to be raised in a good way. However, Gyutaro on the other hand was not one of those lucky people. Almost a lot of people, maybe at least the few 30 to 40% or even possibly more who are born unlucky in this cursed world in a low life society. He was born in a entertainment district of the lowest of the low, Eventually, he will have this ugly face and voice even too when he was born. Eventually, his mother will later on hit him and try to have him to die because he was nothing more than a burden, Which is really sad and pathetic because when you give birth to a child, you should be happy and do whatever it takes to raise them, But however, some parents aren't like that, and some of them are total freaking douchebags whatsoever, Eventually, as Gyutaro continues his life. He'll later on only have to survive on mice and maybe some snakes of what he eats, in order to live, etc. Eventually, it's just the lowest of the low district will hate him and throw rocks at him, It's like the world cursed him to be hated and to be insulted and to be picked on all the time, that kind of thing. Eventually, as time continues on, when his sister was born, he'll later on try to turn his life around and has his ugliness and everything else as a big pride thing to himself, He'll later on become a debt collector, which eventually turned his life around for a bit. But, the way how he raised Daki, what raised Ume or Daki or something, will eventually, they end up being, will be the same way how she will later on be burned or killed, When Gyutaro was on his way home, etc., and we get to know Sue, how she was burned, etc., it's this guy was trying to, the customer of the samurai eye was trying to possibly do something to Daki or possibly something worse, and she's the one that blinded him. She later on get burned up, that kind of thing. We have Gyutaro screams in agony and pain about losing his sister, but he retains enough strength in order to kill the woman and the man who was responsible for the pain inflicted upon him and his sister. Eventually, just about he was about to die here and there. We have to it that that an upper six demon rank ends up showing up to Gyutaro and Daki and ends up saving them the last minute. And if you are one of the chosen ones, then you can become demons and rise up to the upper ranks. And we get to see to it Gyutaro does not regret becoming a demon. No matter how many times he's reborn, I'm going to become a demon every damn time, etc. I'll never forgive those. I'll never show mercy to anyone who has a better life, sadly. And, those who have a better life is either lucky or I don't know, whatever the situation is, I guess he's not very happy with those who are born lucky and shows no mercy to them no matter what. But the only thing that if he had one regret on is possibly his sister Ume or Daki, or Ume. We get to know that Gyutaro raised her that way to take those who would try to take something from you, that kind of thing, etc. I don't know. But one thing's for certain is that Gyutaro raised her into becoming a possible monster, or possibly like him in a monstrous personality way, that kind of thing. And only wish that if she was born differently and became a respectable Oiran, then she would have had a normal life or normal parents, that kind of thing. Since you have that impressionable, painless nature whatsoever, But because I raised you to collect from, I taught you to raise, and I taught you how to collect from others, and that's the reason why you stabbed that samurai in the eye whatsoever. You might have followed a different path if you had something else. And his only regret was just possibly her. Eventually, in the afterlife, we have to it that Daki or possibly Ume shows up and says hey, where you going? Is that the exit? Stop. Don't follow me, that kind of thing. I'm done with you, I guess Gyutaro might have been hurt by Daki's words, or possibly he's trying to push her away not to let her follow him. But Daki or Ume in that afterlife that Gyutaro and Daki are now in right now, she ends up apologizing, saying, I didn't want to admit that we lost because of me, that kind of thing. I'm sorry for not fighting better, etc. Please don't leave me, etc. I'm sorry for dragging you down. Although Gyutaro tries to convince her, you go the opposite direction, I'm going this way, We had Daki or Ume decides not to leave him and says, please, don't you remember that we'll always be together no matter what, no matter how many times our lives we are being reborn, So, even though Gyutaro tries to push her away and doesn't want her to follow him, because I guess he's just being that brother-sibling in the end, knowing that he could have done, etc., I don't know. But one thing's for certain is that Daki or Ume in that afterlife decides not to leave Gyutaro and says, we're going to go together, And Gyutaro therefore accepts that his sister will come with them, and they end up going to the fires of hell together, Which is really sad, and etc., that kind of thing. And then we have to it that eventually, after that afterlife ended, we have to it that Tanjiro and Nezuko possibly knows that they made up in the end when the time came about. So, yeah. And we have to it that the Snake Hashira, whatever his name is, I don't remember him, ends up showing up to Uzui and says, congratulations. However, you taking down a lower rank upper demon, it doesn't matter, blah, blah, blah. Whatever the case may be. So we have to it that Uzui therefore announces his retirement, which the Snake Hashira refuses to accept because they already lost Rengoku, and the fact that Uzui is about to retire, is about to give up his seat too, is only going to make things worse, Because, and overall, if I think about it, Hashira are the biggest pillar and support to the Demon Slayers because that's what allows them to keep fighting in the end. But yeah. Whatever the case may be, Uzui says, I think I could recommend someone else who could be worthy of the Hashira seat. He actually survived this fight whatsoever, etc. And I think he'll be reaching his potential, And maybe the two others as well. Hopefully he can mention the two others such as Inosuke and Zenitsu as well, because they pretty much put up a good fight as well, And without those two, they would never have defeated Daki or Gyutaro in the end, etc. Whatever the case may be, although like in the Snake Hashira, we get to know that the Snake Hashira does hate Tanjiro since Uzui says that guy who you hate very much, and he says, how did that guy survive whatsoever. Then we see a scene with Akaza having to show up at the train, but at the castle, but not before we get to know that the leader of the Demon Slayers finds out that the upper rank 6 demon is finally been killed or defeated, is actually now a good turning point for him and his core, or Demon Slayer core, and eventually, he congrats Nezuko, Tanjiro, Inosuke, Zenitsu, and Uzui for doing a fine job in order to defeat them. As for Akaza, he ends up having to show up at the Infinity Castle and realizes that since all of us are here, that means one thing: the freaking one of the upper rank 6 demons has been defeated, and then etc. So. Pretty much the episode ends up with Tanjiro, and we see Uzui and his wives having to help him out a bit because he's very injured, that kind of thing. As with Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Nezuko, or should I say our quadruple group, or should I say our group, Tanjiro, Zenitsu, Inosuke, and Nezuko, they end up having to get a group hug and says, I'm so glad we managed to make it out alive, that kind of thing, etc. So, oh yeah, knowing that, and the episode ends up with the opening songs ending, etc. So, pretty much, if you guys know and realize it, Season 3 has been announced, so I don't know when it's going to come out, or it's in or I don't know, I do not know when it's going to come out, but I can say for sure, I don't mind waiting another freaking, two years and a couple months, or even more than that, because if they deliver this kind of high animation, art, music, and production quality, like I said, and I'm pretty sure anyone would agree with me, I don't mind waiting that long or even longer, depending on the situation for them, because they've been doing a fine, good job when it came to the Mugen Train arc movie, and then in the TV series, although there was nothing much change about it, they added original episode, etc. But when they did a good job with the Entertainment District arc, that's something else as well. But like I said, I don't mind waiting that long or even longer, depending on the situation, if they need more time or how fast they work, So yeah, looking forward to I'm really looking forward to next season or the next arc whatsoever. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. Hope you guys enjoyed this season as much as I did. What do I think about it? I'd say the art, animation, and production quality, along with the music, was the best parts of this season, I mean, it was pretty phenomenal. I mean, you gotta admit that those were the greatest quality that the Demon Slayer, what this season of Demon Slayer really showed, As for the story in general, I guess it's okay, I mean, when we get to see a new Hashira in action, However, we didn't get to see the new breathing, the sound breathing form from Uzui that much, He might have shown only a couple forms, I believe. Maybe 1, 2, or even 3 at most. Maybe 2 at most, 2 to 3 at most. I mean, which really sucks, honestly, because Uzui had a lot of potential, to maybe be more relevant, I guess. But, I guess when you're fighting against a powerful upper rank 6 demon, it's to be expected. I mean, the guy just literally lost an arm, and now he just literally lost a freaking eye. He can't fight anymore, man. I mean, it's obvious from the get-go. He used whatever last strength he had left in order to give Tanjiro and his and his two friends Zenitsu and Inosuke the killing blow, you know, against an upper ranked moon. So he deserves his retirement. Honestly, what can he do with one hand and one eye? Surely he could fight, but he can't fight for long either. Not to mention like etc. But you know, this gonna bring out more development for Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke. They could possibly fill in the vacancies that's like now missing. You know, Rengoku's spot is gone because, you know, we all know what happened to him. And Uzui having to step down and retire, that's understandable too, you know, so that's a good thing. So, well, okay, that's a bad thing, honestly. He has to retire, but it's good for him eventually because he's already beaten up badly, etc. You know what I'm talking about. But that aside, this gives a chance for Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke to get stronger or be trained by a Hashira or something in order to like further themselves and possibly defeat an upper ranked demon themselves. But I highly doubt that's really the case because it really took Uzui and 3 boys to defeat an upper ranked moon demon. And let's not forget, Gyutaro and Daki or Ume was the lowest of the upper ranked moons. You can only imagine how freaking deadly it will be once they face the top ones, you know? Imagine, top 3. We don't really know what the 5th and the 4th are capable of, but from what I heard, etc., they're not as simple as either. So yeah, like I said, it was a nice, phenomenal season. If I were to give a rating to this season, I'd say like maybe an 8 to a 9. But on a critical level, depending on the situation, I guess a 6 to a 7 in terms of the story and how it progressed. You know, I mean, like I really wish we could have seen Uzui more in action here and there, and like despite like some serious stuff here and there might be annoying, but whatever. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like it was a fun season. Don't get me wrong. The art, music, production, and music quality was one of the best parts of the season. You know, etc. And as for development for our characters of Tanjiro and the others, they seem to gotten a little better and stronger. But yeah. Anyways, looking forward to like next season. I mean, like if they had to take at least 2 years or possibly even more just to like bring out this kind of quality, just like in the Mugen Train arc and then like Mugen Train movie or arc and then like the Entertainment District arc, I don't mind waiting for a long time, man. I mean, like anyone who's seen Ufotable works, you'll understand that I'm pretty sure anyone could agree with me that you don't mind waiting for long as long as you don't die beforehand. So until then, people, I hope you guys had a fun season with this one. I'm pretty sure hell as I did. So until then, people, I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm Alpha Zero. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, peace out. Bye bye. Toot toot.